vocals are vocals, you know.
I also definitely wanted you to talk about your time in Europe and going there, touring, playing specifically in Vienna, and what brought you. We'll start with what brought you to Europe. How did you end up there?
That's a long story. All right, but
and just how it ties into the music industry and hip hop. And the hip hop that's here versus what some of the people are listening to underground Europe.
When this whole thing first started was probably about like this project here was probably started like a couple years before it even came out. And at the time I had just moved to Toronto, and I hooked up with this fella by the name of Mark Mack, who's like this really renowned musician. That's the best way to describe him. He's just a musician. He does everything. He messes with, you know, he's part of the, you know, ironically, he was a part of the jungle scene for a minute, and he went to straight jazz and straight neo soul. He creates everything. I don't know how he does it, but regardless, you know, ran into some of his music where he did all these really jazz renditions of like hip hop and jazz. Like there was like full orchestrations of like some world-blown classic records. And I heard, I don't know if you know, y'all know Nas. Nas, Whose World Is This? Was one of his amazing. He did it really well, and I just reached out to him, and from there we just went back and forth. And before you know it, I ended up with a pretty decent deal on a label called BBE over in the UK, which started a beautiful thing within itself, which gave me some growth, and then eventually I ended up speeding up the story, of course, to Vienna. Vienna, for some reason, had like my record playing like it was on Hot 97, you know, so you got to go and check it out. So when I went there to actually feel it, it was amazing because I came there sort of on a surprise level. Nobody really knew that I was coming there, but to a good friend, we ended up. So when I got booked for a couple gigs out there, it was like people were dancing, and I get on the mic, and it was like, whoa, I know this guy, I know this song, you know, and you're like, yeah, you know, you get it rocking. But the overall feeling is that, like, you get what you get comparing sort of the thing. I mean, truthfully, I hate to say that it's a comparing of countries or anything, because I just feel music is music, and if you feel it, you shouldn't hate the music because people say it's not a standard of what's going on today. You should like something because you just genuinely like it. But for the most part, there is like, they're into more of the real hip hop sort of feel.
I mean, there's different culture in different country, which creates, you know, a different appreciation for different.
Yeah, they created like a different well, they listen to us. All the stuff that they like is stuff that we've been on for like years. It's just that they never got off of it, to put a long story short. And they're into like the stuff that we do now, you know. All, you know, with the Drakes and the Rick Rosses and everybody, what they're doing now. But they just take it all in, where we sort of, it feels like we sort of just dismiss what used to be, and this is all it is that's left right now. So, I mean, if you follow standards and if you follow those kind of things, then you're going to get caught up in a little small box. My opinion, my advice is try to be open to as much as possible, because everything, especially as a musician, all you're going to do is grow from hearing everything.